Have you ever been forced to maintain a connection or contact with someone who simply drains your life energy? Perhaps it's a chronic complainer who enjoys living in negativity, a narcissist who needs attention and affirmation all the time, or that one person who is always trying to make you feel inferior or one-up them. You're completely crazy if you believe that owning wealth, prestige, or an attractive appearance will protect you from dealing with these toxic energy vampires. Rich celebrities and powerful leaders are not the only ones who fall in love with mentally taxing individuals. Attractive people are also not infrequently caught up in violent partnerships. What, then, is the actual key to dealing with poisonous people while maintaining your mental health? The solution is straightforward. By developing the skill of detachment, we can effectively and silently break off these individuals, as taught by the ancient Stoic philosophy. You know, a large portion of individuals are just too entangled with what other people think of them. They even make an effort to win over those who utterly disagree with their values in their desperation to receive approval from friends, lovers, followers, and other people. This weakness is used by toxic people to control and deplete others. The first high-value people were the Stoics, who did not gauge their value by what other people thought of them. These thinkers were adept at strategically maintaining their judgment, boundaries, and inner serenity. By the time this is through, you will know exactly how to remove harmful relationships from your life by using the Stoic technique. We shall discuss 8 main explanations for the Stoics' disengagement from consuming individuals. First and foremost, protect your valuable mental space. You are inundated with messages, notifications, and individuals competing for your time and attention every day. Your mental energy is depleted by this before your day has even begun. A Stoic person understands that their attention is a valuable resource that shouldn't be wasted. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, taught that the way to achieve true happiness is to live in the moment without worrying about the future. You can't be totally present and satisfied with the moment when you're always getting sidetracked and tugged in numerous directions by demanding people. They know that your mental environment is shaped by everyone you let into your inner world and by the opinions you absorb. As a result, they are quite picky about what and who is granted cognitive least space. Releasing yourself from toxic people gives your mind more space to concentrate on the things that are truly important to you. Let's take an example where you have a friend who is constantly whining about everything: jobs, relationships, health, money, you name it. There's an assault of negativity and victimization every time you're with them, or they message you. You should distance yourself from this person since their negativity is affecting your own emotions and state of mind. To safeguard their inner serenity, a Stoic would cut this individual off. Second, give your life's mission top priority. The Stoics were driven to realize their full capabilities and aspirations. They saw the majority of social dramas and small-scale conflicts as sideshows to their main objective of doing good. It is possible to dedicate more time and energy to your goal and legacy by severing ties with harmful people. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be, wrote Marcus Aurelius. Unite. The Stoic invests their negative connections and never-ending battles with others' negative energy in leading a purposeful and moral life. For example, if you have a really ambitious aim of starting your own business and some friends are always criticizing you or making fun of your goals, you need to distance yourself from those negative voices. Their lack of confidence will keep you mired in uncertainty and passivity. Cut them off so you can continue concentrating on moving closer to your goal. Third tip, get comfortable supporting your boundaries. Strong psychological boundaries were expertly established by Stoics to protect their autonomy and judgment. Attempts to dominate or emotionally influence them were rejected by them. Releasing yourself from toxic individuals is a very real method of setting limits. Instead of attempting to continuously ward them off, you remove the source. It's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it that matters, Epictetus once said. The Stoic responds to verbal abuse, lies about them, or attempts to throw negativity your way without showing opposition or emotion. They just eradicated that impact entirely from their realm. An excellent example would be if you have a family member who is highly critical of you and your choices, relationships, or profession and always makes sneaky remarks about them. Rather than put up with the harmful conduct, a Stoic would severely restrict contact or cut them off after making futile attempts to clarify your boundaries. Fourthly, work on developing an inner feeling of wholeness. Many become ensnared by toxic individuals due to a deep-seated sense of insecurity, the conviction that their approval or presence is necessary for them to feel whole. The Stoics realized that living a life of conviction, loyal to their ideals and convictions, was the only affirmation they required. This unwavering self-respect gave them the courage to distance themselves from anyone attempting to undermine their moral character. According to Seneca, to be able to endure one's solitude without being a burden to oneself is the highest achievement of all. Individuals stuck in unhealthy relationships still lack a strong sense of self-worth and wholeness. Let's take a scenario where you are in a love relationship and your spouse is extremely controlling, manipulative, which diminishes your value. Despite this, you choose to stay in the relationship because you are afraid of being alone or because you don't believe you deserve better treatment. A Stoic would be fearless in eliminating that harmful influence from their life, understand their value is derived from themselves, and feel whole on their own. Fifth rule: never encourage bad behavior. Stoics adhered to an unwavering moral code. They refused to support or give in to anyone behaving in an openly hostile, disrespectful, or harmful manner. By completely cutting ties, they both prevented future violations of their peace of mind and communicated that such behavior was unacceptable. In his teachings, Marcus Aurelius advocated to react, but not by giving energy to the unproductive. It only serves to maintain the toxic dynamic by interacting with and supporting the destructive actions of a toxic individual. Complete detachment prevents them from damaging you further while preserving your integrity. A glaring example would be a coworker who lies frequently, belittles you in front of superiors, claims credit for your work, and acts in an antagonistic manner toward you. A Stoic would distance themselves entirely, avoiding them, interacting with them as little as possible, and cutting them off in order to prevent that negativity from further tainting their mind or career after their earnest attempts to communicate have failed. Sixth, maintain sincerity and genuineness. The Stoics were repulsed by games, manipulation, and dishonest dynamics. They held that one should only interact with others who were equally sincere and truthful, and that one should behave themselves with sincerity. Their approach to upholding their principles of honesty and integrity was to distance themselves from persistently dishonest and inauthentic individuals. According to Epictetus, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose very presence calls forth your best. The more you interact with people who are continuously being fake and inauthentic, the more they will taint your own authenticity. Let's take an example where you have a friend who is often making things up, lying on social media, and sending confused signals through deceitful words and deeds. If the value of truthfulness is so great, a Stoic would eventually reach the point of total detachment because it would become unpleasant to be around fakery. Seventh tip: remain adaptable and detached. The Stoics acknowledged the transience of all connections. They refrained from holding on to relationships that were no longer nourishing or advantageous to both parties. Instead of running the risk of becoming entangled in increasingly toxic interpersonal relationships, detaching allowed them to respond to changing circumstances with agility. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. The Stoics would sever poisonous relationships not out of bitterness, but with an open mind, realizing that people change and circumstances can get ill with time. By getting rid of things that were no longer beneficial to them, they were able to adjust, thanks to their adaptable and detached perspective. An excellent example is a connection that was once very pleasant but, as time went on, became characterized by continual conflict, jealousy, or manipulation because one of the friends had a change of heart or experienced difficult circumstances. Rather than dragging around unnecessary negativity, a Stoic would distance themselves once it became apparent that the friendship was more detrimental than beneficial. Eighth, function as a pillar of strength. The Stoics were fundamentally self-assured and understood just how to live moral lives. They refused to look to others for approval or let their identity be determined by their actions. It was only natural to distance oneself from toxicity and from the steadiness of their true selves in order to be in alignment. According to Marcus Aurelius, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. When you work from a strong foundation of principles and self-worth, toxic people's attempts to undermine you or move you from your beliefs have minimal impact. You just completely remove their influence from your domain, rescinding any pain or misery they may attempt to inflict. Let's take an example where you have strong beliefs about being a good partner and father, but your family life and parenting decisions are continuously undermined by a toxic parent or in-law. Instead of putting up with that poisonous influence, a Stoic would gently but firmly distance themselves from that person to maintain their identity as a loving spouse, parent, or mother. The ultimate in ghosting, the way of the Stoics involved withdrawing your thoughts, feelings, and involvement from a circumstance or someone who was no longer deserving of them. It was the choice to follow your own intuition rather than fallacious social indoctrination that dictated you must be involved with everyone and everything. Although completely severing ties with someone may sound clinical or even cruel, it was the most humane course of action. The Stoics understood that maintaining unhealthy, taxing relationships helped no one, including themselves. Unwholesome gathering. Everyone was able to take their own way without interference when there was a clear break. According to Seneca, there is no person so severely punished as those who subject themselves to the whip of their own anger. Remaining connected to someone toxic out of guilt or false obligation will only make you pay for their disrespect, negativity, and harm. Removing oneself from such misery is true compassion. Naturally, maintaining a Stoic distance was difficult. It took a great deal of self-control, self-awareness, and dedication to live by principles rather than peer approval. The Stoics were derided by both ancient and contemporary critics who characterized them as emotionless, haughty, and cold. The Stoics, however, had a different opinion. They viewed their estrangement as the pinnacle of boundaries, self-care, and treating everyone with decency. To practice Stoic detachment, you don't have to shut yourself off from everyone or live a hermit's life, but you should assess which of your connections, relationships, and social interactions are consuming more of your time, energy, and sense of self. Determine which ones don't advance your highest good and are therefore at odds with your principles. Those are the connections to gently but firmly break away from without any fallout, drama, or need for a long justification. According to Epictetus, if you seek truth, you will not seek victory by dishonorable means, and if you find truth, you will become invincible. Give your sovereign intellect and sacred life goal precedence above the poisons and diversions that want to steal it. Never hesitate to shut off sources that are interfering with your peace of mind and ability to move forward in life. Follow the Stoic path and detach yourself with empirical objectivity, not from a place of boiling hatred or a desire to punish, but from an enlightened awareness that what matters most is keeping your inner peace and being true to who you are. Take firm action against the evil elements that are beyond deserving of your attention and light. Silently cut them off to preserve your soul's genuine vigor. Pettiness and resentment are toxic energies in and of themselves, so let them go. Just let go entirely and direct your limited resources back toward what is right. That is the wise person's path. If you've made it this far, please indicate that you've learned anything from this video by leaving a comment below with the word %. Make sure to watch the suggested video that is now displayed on the screen for more fascinating subjects. I appreciate you seeing.